Welcome back to AM Prime, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being with us this morning as we get into my next conversation. We're speaking about an emotional journey for many, and that is having to deal with hair loss. And you may be wondering exactly how is this emotional? Well, we will get into that in a bit. But apart from that, how one woman's personal journey battling with a disease that affects many, and her personal journey with dealing with hair loss, how she has taken that as inspiration to try and empower other women who are facing the same. I'm joined this morning by beauty enthusiast and founder of The Beautiful Market, Miss Jamila Bannister. Good morning, Miss Bannister.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you very much for joining me this morning. Miss Bannister, I'm starting by asking you a bit about your background. I understand that you've always been in public relations, you've always been in communication, yes, but you've also described yourself as a beauty enthusiast. What is the link between public relations, communications, and beauty?
Well, from a just an image point of view, public relations and communication is all about crafting that image, crafting that message, and really communicating what you'd like to get out to the public. And for a lot of people, the way you look, the way you dress, the way you present yourself is a big part of that. So I've always had an interest in that, and I've always had an interest in beauty and makeup, just, as a girl's girl, you get glam and you make yourself feel pretty by getting dressed and putting makeup on. I'm even trained in makeup artistry, so connecting those two things seemed very natural to me. So to be able to, curate your image and take care of your beauty, that's the link for me. Yeah.
And getting straight into the more personal aspect, how has your career of public relations and that coupled with your enthusiasm for beauty, how was that affected by your diagnosis? I believe it was inflammatory breast cancer in 2023.
Yes.
Just a year ago.
Just a year ago, yes. My anniversary is coming up, to be very honest. And well, those two were linked from the point of view of when I was first diagnosed, as anybody would be, it was an extremely emotional, extremely difficult time for me. I always describe it as I went into a dark place, like mentally, and I had to retreat in order to make sense of this whole thing. Because your life gets completely disrupted with that. You have so many plans, you have so many things that you would like to do, but ultimately you are now under the authority of this illness, and you have to do everything you can to, heal yourself and get yourself back to where you would like to be. So when I was doing my job and this diagnosis came about, I realized that once I got through the darkest times, it got to a point where I felt like I knew I wanted to share my story, but I wasn't quite sure how and when. And through the encouragement of some friends, and they told me, your story can help so many people, you have no idea who you can impact when you share. So in October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I felt it was apt at that time. And also my birthday is that month, so I'm like, what better time than this? Be thankful to see another birthday, because I had no idea if I would have. And also, people's attention is focused on breast cancer at this time. So I used that time to talk about it, share my story, but I also tried my best to bring another perspective to the thing. And when I say that, I mean usually during Breast Cancer Month, everybody's encouraging you to get tested, get scanned, etc. But there are a number of women who will get scanned and they won't walk away unscathed. The doctor may find something. And so for me, the conversation usually doesn't get past the point of if they found something, if they found a lump, if they found something suspicious. Like, what do you tell that person? How do you tell them to treat with certain things? Like, how do you encourage them during that time? Because you never know what you could discover upon investigation. So that was my perspective during that time, and I use that platform to let people know, listen, if you find something during this time, these should be your next steps, because this is what I did, so this is what I could recommend you to do. So there was a way to kind of give people a sense of guidance, a beacon, so that they can not feel overwhelmed. I felt extremely overwhelmed, and in that time, having some sort of guidance really is helpful, so you know where to go, step 1, step 2, step 3, etc. So using my background and understanding that I came into a space where I had to kind of add some value, I kind of combined the two and I just created some content and just kind of slowly started releasing it. And the response was way overwhelming. I didn't expect it to be so overwhelming. But a lot of people appreciated it from the point of view of it was educational, it was helpful, it kind of taught them a little bit about navigating their way through the public system, you know, which, by the way, is very good. You know, a lot of people have some negative things to say about that, but the public system in terms of cancer care is actually quite good. So giving people that clarity to let them know, listen, this is, in my experience, this is what I did, and this is what I can tell you to do. You know, so that's where I was able to kind of combine the two to add some more value.
And you mentioned something there. Within this time, you have to focus on healing yourself.
Yeah.
Was this also part of your journey of healing yourself? How has that journey been within the last year?
Well, difficult. One, it started off really hard because while your physical body gets attacked, your mental health also is under a lot of strain because you are competing with a lot of things that you would have liked to do now. I am a woman in my 30s. There are things that I would like to accomplish in life that I haven't quite gotten to yet. And you know, you start to think about things like, and it's not fair. It's not fair that you weren't able to do the things you wanted to do. You know, as human beings, we live for the things we could look forward to, you know, our next dopamine hit. That's the way we are. We like to look forward. We like to plan. And when you don't have the flexibility to do that, or you're afraid to plan because you're like, I don't know if I'm going to be here next year. I don't know if I'm going to be here. I don't know if I'm going to be here. And the truth is, none of us know if we are going to be here. But I think it's a little different when it's made real and in your face that you truly do not know. And you know, the potential of you not being here is kind of peeking out at you from behind a bush or behind a wall. So the healing part for me meant I had to really shift my perspective from a mental point of view and think about the fact that nobody knows how long they have in this place. And the truth of the matter is we have to, as I say, we have to live until we die. So I stopped being the person who kept thinking, I don't know, I don't want to plan, I don't want to look forward, I don't want to get disappointed if I can't make it. And start thinking, listen, nobody has a time clock to know when things are going to end. You might as well live until your very last moment. You don't know when it's going to end. Just make the most of the time. So that was it from a mental health point of view. And from a physical point of view, I mean, things had to change drastically from diet to exercise to, you know, trying to keep my stress levels down. All of those things were really important from a holistic healing point of view. Using of course, having the medical, scientific side of things, you know, doing the chemotherapy and all those kinds of things. And then adding the other part of it, which is taking care of your mental health, taking care of your nutrition, and just taking care of yourself from a holistic point of view.
Did your diagnosis actually in any way at all, when you sat down and learned, you know, this is your diagnosis, it may not have been the first thing that ran through your mind, but as you were digesting it, did it in any way at all prepare you for that journey of hair loss? And in my introduction, I mentioned it's an emotional journey. Many women have spoken on how it really is something that's very difficult to cope with.
Well, you know, as you're correct, I didn't really think about that immediately. My mother is also a breast cancer survivor, so I would have witnessed her journey, and she's still here with us, thank God, 12 years later. But you know, it's not the first thing you think about. But because as I start, all I'm thinking about is I just want to get this process started because I was scared that, you know, the longer I wait, the worse this thing can get. So by the time I started doing the treatment, there were so many other side effects to the chemotherapy that the hair loss, I knew was coming, but it wasn't at the front of my mind because there were other things I was bracing myself for, other body aches, pains, other things I would have been, you know, kind of like bracing myself for. So once my hair started to go, but even though I knew it was coming, it was still hard to see it because I remember thinking, maybe I'm one of the lucky ones who would have taken this chemotherapy, my hair wouldn't fall out. So I remember going to wash my hair someday And then I'm like, okay, my hair's still fine. And then I decided to comb my hair and the entire left side just came out in my hands. And for like a quick second, I was shocked at the amount of hair. And then I said, oh yeah, this is the chemotherapy taking effect. And over the next couple of weeks, you know, my hair just basically came out in chunks until eventually I decided to just cut it all off because it didn't make sense at that point in time. I was looking like a Cabbage Patch Kid. So, you know, but it's one thing to lose the hair in your head but when it starts to, you know, come down to your eyebrows, your eyelashes, and you lose virtually every hair on your body, it's kind of strange to look at yourself in the mirror and see yourself. So, you know, once I realized I had to get a wig and I got the wig and I started wearing it, it really gave me a form of protection, I would say. I always describe my Stella as like a helmet going to war because the truth is, this is like a war you're fighting. You're fighting for your life, you're fighting for your body. And with that in mind, I always use my wig as a way to, you know, keep myself safe from too many questions, too many prying eyes, because sometimes you're just not in the mood to answer all people's questions. It's a lot you're dealing with, a lot, carrying a lot every day in your head. And then when you have to be peppered with questions everywhere, it could be a little bit overwhelming. So certainly, I didn't think about it in the beginning, but once it started to come into play, I had to devise a strategy for the way I would, you know, manage myself and manage the communication, to keep my cool, to keep treating people well, and at the same time, to keep my secret. That's what I did.
Just on a bit of a side note, I've read that you've referred to your wig as Stella.
Yes.
Why have you personalized it? How did you even come up with the name Stella?
Well, you know, Stella's like my friend now because she knew things that other people didn't know. And for me, it's like you're walking along this journey with a friend because it's not just every day I take off and put on wigs. This is actually the first wig I've ever owned. And for a lot of people going through something like this, whether it's chemotherapy or some other type of hair loss, for a lot of us, sometimes it's the first wig you ever had. So it's like, you know, this is your friend. And you may not have had an enormous budget to buy a whole room full of wigs, but you know you can invest in one good one, and this is your friend to keep your secrets while you may be going through a difficult time. So for me, she's kind of like my friend, and personalizing it makes it feel better. You know, you take care of her better. You just engage with her better. That's what I think.
So, you know, through all that you faced, through all that you were experiencing and going through, you still found some level of desire not only to help yourself through your journey and through your emotional journey, but to inspire others. And that is also where the idea was launched of the beautiful market. Tell us about that process of conceptualizing it and to actually making it happen.
Well, as I said, it's almost like a coming together of a whole bunch of things with me, right? So as we just spoke about, you know, I always had a desire for things in the beauty space and, you know, looking and feeling good. And then I would have put out the content and so many people responded to it, and I realized that a lot of women were looking to me as a source of information, a source of help, a source of support. And then when I started getting back into the world of work, because I really wanted to get back into work earlier this year, I applied for a job. And the job, of all the things that they wanted me to do, was to do marketing for a company for women with hair loss. So this company was based in the US. Anyway, I created what I think was a fantastic marketing plan. They loved it, but they didn't hire me. Okay, no problem. So it's sitting in my disappointment. Once again, it kind of dawned on me. I'm like, okay, you have this plan, you have these people who need your help, and you always had a desire to get into beauty and hair. And in fact, I tried to start something with hair before, but it didn't really take off because I didn't really have a focus, and I don't think I had an audience, and I really didn't have a purpose. But this year, all of that came together: purpose, desire, plan. And with that, I'm like, you know what, this is what I'm going to do, and I think this is my God-given mission. And I think I didn't get that job because I was supposed to use this plan for myself. So bringing together all of those things, I quickly mobilized what I think was 5-10 years in the making, and the beautiful market took off from where it was into a full-fledged Online store now, yeah.
You think that disappointment that you experienced was your launching pad?
I mean, I think so. You know, sometimes they say every disappointment is a reappointment. And I think in this case, it definitely was. So thanks for not hiring me, guys. It's okay. I think it was. So I'm happy that it worked out in that way. And I feel like this is so much more purpose-driven, because as much as it is a store, and yes, we want to be able to sell and generate income, there's also a huge part of it that is my story. And a huge part of it is the story of many other women. And it's a huge part of it that, for me, it's about helping and supporting and helping other people to find their Stella, their friend, their protector, and maybe they can get some other friends along with her as well.
Do you think that's what makes the beautiful market different, that you're able to connect on a different level with your clientele?
I think so, because, I mean, the hair and beauty industry is extremely competitive. In Trinidad and Tobago, there are many persons who are into hair and beauty and so on. So there's no shortage of that. You know, people can shop anywhere they want. But when you are shopping with us, there are certain things I would like you to experience. I would like you to understand and know that the person on the other side of the process is somebody who understands you, somebody who's been there, somebody who you could ask questions to, whose goal, whose one of the main goals is really to be able to kind of engender community and engender that trust, and also to serve with dignity. Because I think for a lot of people, we experience wig judgment, and wig judgment is a thing that is, you know, it's present, you know, wearing a wig for a lot of people is something that people, well, I don't want anybody to know, it's an open secret, you know, and it's okay that you want to keep your business tucked away, but, you know, sometimes people do get judged for wearing a wig or wearing extensions or wearing hair pieces, and particularly women, right? Because hair has been always tied to our beauty and tied to the things that make us feminine. So the truth of the matter is that as I do this, I really want you to know that I can relate. And even the pieces that I choose in store, I think about, you know, what type of hair loss is someone experiencing? Are they experiencing hair loss on their entire head? Would they want a wig? Are they experiencing hair loss maybe just at the top of the crown? Maybe they will want something like a topper that's to fill in and blend in at the top. Or maybe they want something, you know, just around the periphery. Maybe they could get some clip-ins just to get them some volume. So I think about those things before sourcing the items as well. So it has an impact on the way that I choose things. So the customers really are the source of guidance in terms of shaping what the vision for the brand is and what the store is and what the products that we sell.
Your campaign ran with the slogan "Embrace Your Now."
Yeah.
Embrace your now, and it speaks to a lot of what you've already related to us this morning. But embracing it now, does that also suggest that you have accepted this part of your journey and that you are encouraging women to accept that as well? Enably.
So yes, embrace your normal is this campaign slogan, and really comes from a place of encouraging women to understand, because with hair loss, sometimes it's very hard to kind of accept that. And as I say, I know I went into a dark place with my diagnosis, and for a lot of people, they go into a dark place when they go through something like hair loss, because you can't really control it. I think the worst thing is going through something and you feel helpless. You don't know how to control it. You don't know where it's coming from. And even if you know where it's coming from, you can't stop it. You know, so it's very easy to retreat into a place where you feel at your safest, which is away from people, or which is playing hide and seek, as I say, under a wig, because I play hide and seek under a wig for a while, right? But the truth is that this is a part of your life, and I want you to live your fullest life, just like I would have liked somebody to encourage me to live my fullest life at the time. And perhaps it will take a while for that to come into play for you, but I always want you to go back to the message of embracing that now, embracing your normal, and understand that, you know, this is normal. This is normal life for me. This is normal life for other women. So why would I hide from the world and retreat and do nothing when there's so much life to live still. There's so much fun to have. There's so many people to see. There's love to fall in. There are people to engage with. There are places to travel, food to eat. Why would I just kind of like retreat because of my hair? That's just one aspect of my life. So my thing is that I want to encourage people to embrace their hair loss as if that's normal for you now, embrace that and get away and live your best life.
Live your best life.
Yeah.
Well, Ms. Bannister, as we're coming to the end of this interview, and thank you so much for sharing your personal journey and you know, being so open. You've said that Stella was a form of protection, but Stella was also a form of inspiration.
Yeah.
Everything that you faced or gone through in the last day, you used as a way of inspiring yourself and inspiring others. Now, with your 1 year anniversary just right around the corner,
Yes.
what has this journey of hair loss into wearing wigs, what has that really meant to you? There's a personal connection between you and Stella, but what has it meant for you overall?
Well, I think it has meant for me, well, first of all, it's me embracing my normal. And it's a way for me to show others that, you know, there's hope beyond your diagnosis. We never know, you know, cancer is one of the most unpredictable, insane diseases you will ever come across. But I think for me, it really is a way to show people that, you know, you can do more with life and you can take something that is really dark on the face of it and turn it into something that could be useful, that could be helpful. And if you go out in a blaze of glory. I mean, go out in a blaze of glory and really just live as much as possible. I think that's as much as I could say about that. Live as much as possible. Do the thing, you know, don't overdo the thing, but do the thing and enjoy yourself, you know.
Ms. Barnes, should anyone wish to get in contact with you at The Beautiful Market, how can they do so?
Sure, so you can visit the website, thebeautifulmarket.com, to see all of our pieces, or you can follow us on social media at The Beautiful Market TT. You can do that on Instagram, on Facebook, or on TikTok, or you can just search for me, Jamila Bannister, and you will find me and learn all about the market.
Ms. Bannister, thank you so very much this morning for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, we take a break on AM Prime. We'll be right back after this.